Fake
That
drama.
was
That's
weird.
just fake drama.
That was wild.
That
I
was
remember like we spent
hilarious.
so much time painting that thing. Like we were me and Zanza and Tree, we were just spent like hours and hours painting tar on that freaking container and they didn't even show that it was done and how good it looked.
Yeah, the fact that
Why
she
are we left?
bikini and Zan's boobies were hanging out wild. Well, I mean, it was a wild time.
Tar titties. She had tar titties.
They
She was great.
missed a lot.
Wow.
Well, you gotta have some entertainment.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
go
So
on.
when I was watching the show, my family was like, "What's the difference between the sexy party and the fear fire?" And I was like, "Yeah, it really doesn't support like the narrative that this sexy party was so divisive because like it like really didn't show that this sexy party was like something super totally different and cool. It was like it kind of just looks like every other, thing that happens. I didn't get the whole narrative of the sexy party.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny. The sexy party actually happened the day after the fear burning, which is funny because it was like the burning of fears, and some people have fears of parties, and it was like, oh, we're going to burn all our fears, and then the next day we do a party, and then people are against it because they're afraid. It was, but they didn't show the short storyline, and the truth is, like the fear burning party was like definitely a more wholesome, family friendly thing, where there was a little bit more element of sexual clothing, maybe to some degree. I don't even know. It was just electronic music playing. There was a band playing. We were playing like techno. We had lights.
It wasn't
That
an
was
orgy?
there was no orgy. No orgy
That was
whatsoever.
hilarious.
Oh,
Wild.
Oh gosh.
And I will say that the fear bonfire, seeing it on television, did not do it justice. That was an amazing, awesome bonfire to be a part of.
You weren't talking shit about it. They made it sound like you were talking shit about
No!
it. When he told me about it on the
That was
phone,
awesome.
he was telling me about how great it was, like how he felt released, and the energy and everything. He was really into it. So I don't know where that conversation came from that you were like, "That's not the best way to handle things."
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, there were so many moments tonight when it's like, okay, like, wait a minute. He's cutting the thing and, like, it keeps being done and then not started yet and, like, back and forth. And it's like, what is the chronology of this conversation? It's clearly not the way that it's being portrayed, right?
the whole season is that way. They just
Yeah.
wanted to fill whatever narrative that they wanted, and they came in knowing it was going to be called the Garden Communal Cult and lied to the shit of us, and they filled that narrative and just didn't let us in on it, And, yeah.
So, question for everybody, because it seems pretty like I don't think we're gonna have like a consensus about doing another one, right?
Hey.
That seems unlikely. But what about if it does really well, doing something somewhere else, right? Like, it seems like we might be able to get a better deal with a different network that's actually going to give us some kind of creative control and input if it does really well. And, like, we don't have, like, an NDA or anything. Like, we could just do
I am
that.
loyal to Block forever.
To Block,
I would
really?
never betray him like that.
Yeah, I
My-
love my executive producers.
Somebody...
I
Yeah,
love
Lizzie.
working
I'll do whatever
for
they say.
Jeffrey Weinstein. I love working fucking child rapists.
The like, one of the first live streams,
Great.
someone got on and was like, did they send the Amish Mafia people in at the end to, like, suddenly stir shit up and turn it into a drama fest? And I was like, yes, they did, I met them. And they're like, this happened on this other show. I heard the whole thing. I'm like, oh my god, I know those people.
I know them.
Wild.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm actually hosting. I wanted to jump on and say hello to you all.
You have
And,
Thanks for jumping
um,
on. We love you.
Yeah, I love you all back.
Miss
I got a
you.
house full of people. We're here. Well, they came over for the finale, and
Hey.
yeah. So now we're just chilling,
You should have made
having a
a
good time and stuff.
like you
So
should have had like cyanide and like all these like weird poisonous pretend poison
Wade.
food buffet. It would have been freaking hysterical.
wait,
Yeah.
I didn't hear you. You said, were you talking to me?
Yeah.
You
you
could
say?
make fake
You
poison
said you should
food.
have had a fake poison food buffet, like
Oh,
spit and buggers and vomit and poo nuggets of all like real food and just made it look like poison.
Poo nuggets?
Poo nuggies. You can make awesome peanut butter and chocolate poo nuggies.
You just ruined all of that.
I said all we could do was laugh. That's all we could do when we saw
Yeah.
it. It was like, damn, you got the hell up out of Dodge once you heard something was going on with the food.
Girls got
All I could do was
priorities.
laugh. I had no answers. I'm like, wow.
Sheila, I'm so sad that they didn't use our grape scene where we're smashing the grapes.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
looking forward to that.
I have it. I
Oh,
recorded
Yeah,
it
foot
too.
wine.
Foot wine.
Yeah, I was looking forward to that. That was funny. I was not going to drink that, by the way. Just long as you know, that's real. I was not drinking the foot wine.
I
And
wonder
I
if
do
we
have a
took all
problem with
the.
people playing with my food. Just know that is serious. I'm not even gonna lie to you. So
wouldn't.
yeah, that was some accuracy there, but yeah, y'all know what it was.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what it was. So all I could do is just, I couldn't do anything. None of us could do anything.
Yeah.
We didn't have any control over anything. So it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's that. But I
Wow.
love y'all.
Good
I'm
story.
gonna have to talk to y'all later. I don't want to keep my guests waiting. Thank
Good
you
to
for
see you.
inviting me on here, and I will
Yeah.
definitely holler at you all later on. Okay, y'all have fun, and we'll talk
Yeah.
later. Okay.
Bye.
All right, bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, baby.
Bye bye.
Oh, she's just so much light. She's just sunshine.
It was
Oh
nice.
yeah, no, I love the Sheila.
Nice to meet so many people for this project.
All right, so what other questions that people have? There has to be about a billion things.
Well,
Because
actually,
I mean,
Jazz
shit,
is-
I have questions.
Jazz is in the
I
chat.
have questions.
Jazz is in the chat replying to everyone's questions too. There are questions about the. I don't think this was in the episode, but someone a bunch of times asked if people's pets had been poisoned at the garden. I don't think that's a real thing.
I've never heard that.
We're not acknowledging that question.
And we're not at the garden. This is 600 miles and 4 states away from the garden.
So
People are talking about Naraya wants to be an actor. She seemed like she was doing it for attention to become an actor.
I would say this 100%. That girl was wanting to be on camera as much as she possibly could.
Yeah.
Though that was really was her. Like she was like that. She is like I said, she is like a hippie Barbie hoarder. That was a real thing.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
hippie Barbie.
That I'm
I
not
was thinking
joking.
we could have her on the
That-
podcast
the
so that she
things
can
that
tell
she
her
had in the back
story.
of her truck, I was like, why do you have this?
Oh, that would be
No,
interesting.
now that she accused us of poisoning people, I think no. But I was like,
Oh,
she
yeah.
was like, I never got to tell my story. I want to be like, what's the story? Like it's about like the makeup business and the like sobriety or whatever. She had something that she wanted to say on camera.
She
I am
was-
still
yeah.
genuinely curious what it was.
Yeah.
I don't know what
it
it
was.
was.
Interesting, her line, she said, I don't know why they think that kicking me off the land is going to stop my journey. And it's like, what journey? What are you
What
talking
journey?
about?
She said the word truth and journey a lot.
I said to I was like, what? Like, did we tell her like your journey is over now? Like, I didn't think that we said that our journey was over. Of course, she's still gonna have her journey, and I wish her the
We all
best.
have our journeys, so
Just not on the property.
just go somewhere else
Yeah.
and have a journey.
It would have been interesting to
Journey
have
somewhere
the
else.
Brazilian waxes for everyone to prevent ticks.
Well, this is the thing. I would have loved so much that she promised, but the truth is, she just sat in a cabin for days and didn't do anything other than try and cause trouble.
Yeah.
And then present herself as some spiritual guru.
The thing that's
And,
really
you know.
interesting in this world is you kind of start to meet like certain kind of person over and over. Like a lot of people very similar to like a certain like archetype, you know? 'Cause
Dude, I totally agree. From traveling, I have met the same person over and over and over and over again. No offense to Germans, I love them, but like there's like literally 20 type of Germans out there.
Oh, okay.
And I have 2 ex-German girlfriends. Like I love my favorite people, but there's 20 of them.
Ich verstehe nicht.
Where's this going?
I kind of
babe?
want you to name them
In order.
in order.
Best to worst.
Ich
Yeah.
habe keine Ahnung. Someone said, it seems like the TV studio is just inciting drama to create a storyline to hook the viewers. Yes.
Well,
I mean,
this is the
that's
thing.
reality
We-
TV, right?
Yes.
Well, we got involved with Discovery at a very awkward time because they just literally before they didn't. I don't even know if they were bought. Yeah, they just got bought by Warner Brothers, and not only did that happen, which definitely changes their whole, filming procedure and what they're looking to do. Just before we started to film our show, the new boss of Discovery Channel was the former boss of TLC. And so TLC is like the drama, version of, Discovery or whatever. And so he became the head of the whole of Discovery because what Discovery were trying to do, according to our executive producer, but I don't believe a word that she says, to be honest. But I have, this is all I've got, is that she said that they're trying to bring in the younger audience. And so, like, they got this TLC guy to be the executive. And so we were the first show of the new, Discovery Channel, essentially. And
Somebody
we didn't
said
know
he
that's
was-
what he was going to.
Somebody said he was like really, really involved with the narrative. Like really personally involved with directing the kind of story they were trying to tell too.
I bet.
Yeah, I didn't know any of that.
It's weird. It's
Yeah.
bizarre, like trying to attract young people by appealing not to young people, but to like some random old person to like who like knows what young people want. You know, like we're literally the people you're trying to attract. This is what we're actually doing. Don't listen to us, of course. Even though the only reason like a lot of us got pulled into this is because we have already had this big following around this kind of stuff. You know, like maybe we know how to do that.
This
What?
felt very like real world road rules kind of situation, right? Like that's the reality TV that I remember, and that's why I didn't want to do this.
Yeah.
Because I remember like real world road rules and how like those TV shows were just like brutal reality TV shows, but then like maybe the generation after me doesn't remember those and how brutal those were, so there's no flashbacks for them.
Yeah. Okay, we have two really good questions. The first one, was the paranoia around Naraya because she was trying to document her experience on her phone? So the context for the answer to that question is the fact that the agreement for everyone, the production crew and us to each other, is that there is absolutely no recording of anyone without explicit verbal consent each time. And one of the things Naraya was doing, which you saw in the show, is she would be like hiding under her car, secretly recording people. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you like hiding under your car, secretly recording people? Like, you agreed not to do that. None of us can do that. And then we find out the TV crew also was doing that. Like, when Patrick asked them not to record the council, they like had the microphone from far away recording it. Like they were acting in bad faith, and so was Naraya. And like the paranoia was justified, right? I'm sure Tree has more to say about that.
Well, I just didn't think that America was really going to allow community living to be presented in the good light. And Naraya just came out of nowhere and was like, I want to be a part of this project, and really made sure that she was part of it. And a lot of her story was fake. Okay, so you understand this. She made, okay, I know these are silly things, but like she made a brand new Facebook page for herself. And we had no idea about her backstory, and she wouldn't tell us anything about it. Her dreadlocks are fake. Her makeup, her tattoos, they're all fake. Like, who really is this person? And we couldn't really tell, but how she did present herself is that she was part of the spiritual, element to our larger community. So we wanted to film this documentary where we also gathered people from all these different communities. So Zans was someone from the Federation of Egalitarian Communities. We had all these different people from these different communities come together, and we thought that Naraya represented this part of the larger community that maybe wanted to be felt and seen. And as soon as the cameras came, she completely switched the way that she was treating everyone. She started accusing people of stealing stuff. She wants, you saw some scenes, she just wants, as soon as the cameras came, she switched. And, I just, I thought they were going to make someone was going to be involved to be nefarious. So I started to think that it was her. And I mean, they captured me being paranoid, but they didn't actually capture my real concerns.
Also, they didn't capture the 20 other people that had concerns. I think is a really big part of it. Is like
me.
You can only speak for how you felt, which they showed how you felt. But I didn't suspect her to be anything other than that. Like, it was just causing a lot of disharmony, and it was really hard to communicate with her. And then when we got in that council, it was 25 people spoke up, and we're even Jazz's sons and or whatever, Sarah's sons, everybody
literally
was
everyone.
really stressed out about it. And so I didn't I didn't completely despise Naraya at this point. I was just it seems like this is taking up so much energy, and I still believed that we had a chance to show this message if we stopped focusing on it. And
they also didn't explain why that changed. So for me, that same day when Tree asked her to leave, I had my first conversation with her. I asked her where her tattoos were from, because she had the line here, and she's like, "Do you mean why am I dressed like an Indian?" And I was like, "What?"
Native American.
Okay.
And she's like, "Yeah, I'm just doing it for the show. I'm actually Italian." And I was like, okay, so my default position is I'm going to side with the new people on anything for any reason. And at that point I was like, okay, not this person. This person is I'm no longer on their side, right? And after we agreed that day that she needed to leave for, I think it was 2 weeks, she stayed for another 24 hours, called the cops that she was being kidnapped by being asked to leave. And then they're like, "You're not being kidnapped, you need to leave. They asked you to leave, you're trespassing." Right. 24 hours later, she finally leaves. And at that point, there was another consensus. It's this person should not be able to come back. Right. So someone's asking in the chat about, why don't we invite her to the live chat, the live with us. After she called the cops with false claims, bringing the instruments of state violence onto the land, there was a consensus that she should never be allowed to participate in anything that we do ever again, including being here, right? So that's the reason why we would not invite her to something like this. And if Julia wanted to have her on her podcast, that's different because it's not with all of us, right? So it's kind of there's a different standard there because we have an agreement not to include her because of her threatening all of us with the police. Right.
I don't know. The food accusation too is pretty big for me. Like she knew that wasn't true.
Yeah.
Like when she's saying those words, she knew like she was looking for anything. So that's really big. Like, come on, like like you knew how much this meant to us. You knew, it sucks that it ended that way for her. But like to then, I'm not gonna go and say like Naraya kills and poisons people. Naraya's a murderer. I'm just gonna say, like. I don't
she
know.
might take that clip of you saying that and make it into a meme.
Yeah, right. I would be careful. But we don't go and like spread false information about people. So it's really like hurtful and mean when people do it to us in a way where you're accusing somebody of tampering with someone's food. Like,
yeah,
very vindictive
and like one last bid to really get on TV and have a moment on camera, I think.
Yeah, but it's like,
yeah, absolutely.
And this is what she was doing, like on the land too. Like she would, like kind of like mess shit up to be on camera, And the day before I asked her to leave, the thing that really like showed me, and not just the fact that she was like turning people against each other and trying to like create division on the land, was that we were setting up the teepee, and yes, she dressed up like a native, which is, offensive in itself. But not only that, she kept like trying to present and put herself as some sort of like higher spiritual energy than everyone else. And it got so bad that she ended up lighting the sacred fire instead, like the native who was on the land, who was hosting the teepee ceremony, gave the right or whatever to Bodhi to light the fire, and she took that away from him, and in my eyes ruined the ceremony. And at that point, I saw no other way for us to continue working together other than she had to leave. She was just I don't know.
Yeah, that was the first indication that I knew that Naraya was camera hungry, because I was trying to help Bodhi get the friction fire started, and then all of a sudden she like plopped herself in front of both of us and inserted herself in that. I was like, "Whoa, okay, all right."
Light a stage and then she food and.
And it was like something he had been working on for like a really long time, like making all of the materials from things that he found on the land, directed by the person who was leading us through with this process to do the land blessing.
Right, and Naraya was like, even after the consensus, like after hours of being in council, when the consensus came through, she was like, "I'm not leaving." That was what she kept saying. Is she's like, "I'm not being called to leave. My journey here isn't over, and I'm not leaving." And so, like, there was that one little clip where it was like me saying, like, "I can't support you anymore," and it's because like when you're actually adding to a situation and not making it any better, and then refusing to leave when you're putting people like under stress and causing conflict, like I can't support that. Like I personally maybe wasn't paying attention to Naraya, or I was like kind of indecisive, I guess, as far as like where do I stand with things. But then it was like when I saw that behavior, I couldn't continue on supporting her in any way.
Well, that's like disrespectful to the process. If you're gonna be on the land and you're gonna be part of the process and you want to be part of this project, you have to respect how this project is essentially being run. I think we made it very apparent we didn't agree necessarily with the consensus process, but you know what? We respected it as best we could because that's the project that we were choosing to be a part of.
Yeah.
Like, and if someone says, "Okay, this is the process, you need to go," you need to just respect that because this is what you're choosing to be a part of.
Just so everyone, they consensed on the shipping container. That was like actually agreed on. It wasn't just me running amok like on the land like, "Fuck you guys, I'm making you safe today."
Yeah,
we just didn't necessarily have like the location figured out, but the reason why we didn't do it sooner, and we have it in the council notes, is because we were going to destroy the road if we drove a big truck with a big, huge, like, box on it, because the film crew needed to use that road to come every single day to film the TV show. And if we drove this huge truck on wet ground, we would have destroyed the road. We wouldn't have had a way to film it and to fix it, and we wouldn't have had a way to film a TV show.
And it was bad
And so
at that point.
it's like we did that for you guys, and you made us look like dicks. You know.
Shine has pictures of the notes from all those councils too, with all the like, you know, genuine, you know, why, yeah. But yeah, we did consensus on it. We just didn't get the exact location down. I wish that they included that our crazy, yeah, the actual council notes. The plan where we were gonna drag the bus across the land. I thought that was
Another thing people don't know if they only watched the show is that when Naraya finally left, she stole all the council notes.
Yeah, that's true too. We don't have the
and all of her donations.
She repossessed her donations.
She donated.
What did she donate?
Like materials and
feathers,
wood and stuff.
It was tons of stuff in the back of her truck. So I just never. Yeah.
A landfill.
So, you know, that's, you know, she wasn't leaving for 24 hours, and I came back on the land. I find out she hasn't left, and she is filming herself over at the TP. And, you know, I'm stupid. I shouldn't have took her phone. But, fuck, I didn't know how else to make her leave. I thought if I took her phone and took her out of the land, then she would have to leave the land to get her phone, and then we can make sure that she doesn't come back. She was refusing to leave. We don't have the police, you know. We only have each other. We are our own security, and so I was stupid enough to try to think I could take it on my own, and I fucked up. You know, I shouldn't have took her phone, but I didn't know what else to do.
One of the advantages to having
this right here is what I really, really adore about you, Tree, is like you are so self-aware, and you can have these conversations where you say like, I fucked up and I'm sorry, and I know that. And I heard you do that a few times, and it's just like, I love that about you. I do. I think that makes you such a good person.
Thanks,
that's all.
Yeah. One of the things about having good road infrastructure is that it enables you to call a fucking tow truck. Just in the future, you know, for people to be aware, if you need to get rid of a person who doesn't leave, a tow truck is a better option than the police. And you need good roads for them to come out.
Yeah, the police can really escalate things, and there's no reason for that.
Yeah.
Another really good question was, what was the deal with the masks that people were wearing?
That doesn't help anything. They're like talking about cultish stuff, and all of a sudden they go to Carl wearing the Radical Raccoon mask. I was like,
so, but it wasn't all the time. It was like they did like a whole puppet show one day. Yes. And it's like just put everywhere in the show, right?
It's very cute, innocent, like
it was great.
Like plays
with
that
the
they
kids
do about anti-capitalism stuff. It's really cute.
If it wasn't innocent, they would have explained it. Like they had to keep it very mysterious. Like if they even showed like a little bit more of it, you'd be like, oh, they're like you know, like they're just being silly. You know,
they had like a little TV that was cardboard, and they were like doing the little show.
Happy TV.
It was adorable. With the scary music, though, it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
All time. Scary music after scary music. And then Tyler, no offense, mate, you're like murdering a chipmunk and eating it alive or licking its blood, and it's like,
not fucking helping either.
Always happy holidays in the morning is shining. It's like
yeah, no, so I wasn't licking my finger. So they asked me as I was cutting open the chipmunk. They're like, "Hey, you ever eat the heart?" I was like, "You want me to eat the heart on camera, don't you?" And I was like,
"Don't ever dare Tyler to do anything.
Do this.
You will do it."
This is why they had to make you the cult leader, because you were doing the creepy shit. You know, none of us would do anything creepy enough for them.
I never once thought, from what they shot with me, that they would make it look like I'm in cahoots with Patrick. And like leading stuff.
Leading a cult.
I never once thought that. Yeah, or sex cults or whatever people are accusing me of now.
It was interesting the way they spliced it together so that it was like you saying, I want to be a tyrant, and then Patrick saying, like, Tyler and I agree about a lot of stuff about the world.
I know. I feel like they took every time Patrick said, like, leadership can be needed. Yeah, like, that is like the main thing that they just use over and over again. I'm like, I'm sure he said so much more than that, but they, like, yeah, they took everything they could get.
And my thoughts on the party were so not that. Like, in the tent when we had that little date night thing. I was like, this is the stupidest fight I've ever seen in my whole life. You guys are literally fighting for like 10 plus days over an incident that took 2 to 3 hours. Like, you are dragging this out for forever. Can we please, like, move on?
Yeah.
We didn't show any of that.
Someone said, Free Palestine. Yes. So this group is all, like, activists and, like, everybody's doing a lot of, like, protesting. I think that's something that doesn't come through, is that, like, these kinds of spaces enable activism and artists in a way that, like, society is designed to prevent. So, like, for this project, a lot of the people who came to this project were coming from Atlanta, from the Cop City protests, you know, and, like, a lot of the people here, like, Tree and Julia met at, like, a protest for the Sami, right? Like, you know, when I met everyone, they were just coming from Standing Rock in this group. Like, this is a group of a lot of people who are doing activists for human rights, especially for pro-Indigenous groups. So definitely, yeah.
Fight the good fight.
Someone said, was the 10-day rule made because of Naraya? No.
Because of Tyler.
It was not. But
well, it's crazy.
Good example.
No, the
of, like,
10-day rule is something that we use a lot in Tennessee at the Garden as like a way for anybody to be able to show up, but then have some kind of checkpoint of like, is this working? Is this not? But then because this was a new project, we kind of like consented on people to come for this specific project.
Right.
So Naraya was consented in that way, and there was no like check-in point after living with her. So it just, that process happened just differently. Because this was the first time, I guess, like we kind of like built a group through consensus and then went somewhere.
Someone said they made it look like she didn't do anything wrong. Well,
Naraya?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Think about what it would take to convince 62 people who you just met to 100% agree that you need to go. Right? Like, what would it take to do that? That's what happened.
When you can barely convince those same people that you need a storm shelter.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
They're more afraid of Naraya than the tornadoes.
Yes, summed up in yes.
Someone said, would you... Oh, it's my brother. Would any of you do a season 2, or are you done with Discovery? We talked about that at the beginning, but... Yeah, I don't think I don't think it's gonna happen. If it did, I think it would be very different. And there would be like, probably it would be more than one project, back and forth, right? And it would be, you know, very different in terms of like creative input for sure, if people are gonna agree to do that.
I think that I would want to like be able to like support in some way other things that maybe people are involved with or something, but like as far as like in front of the camera goes, I think I'm good.
Yeah.
Keep it under the sheets.
I saw what you wrote about in the chat that Love Island contestants get like 12 weeks of therapy afterwards. And I've been reading about that too, because I've been like, damn, how do people handle this? This is really intense. And it's crazy that like, yeah, that so many people have like really hard mental health issues after reality TV that they now like require some networks to do it. And like, I feel like we, of all people, considering like we got fucking duped about the entire title and everything, deserve therapy.
It's not just the title. I know we always say it's like the title, but the whole narrative of what the story was about was presented to us falsely. You know,
Yeah, you see my face when Jessica said that. I was genuinely didn't know that almost every interview that's happening is about that until like the last week. Like they
Yeah.
actually hid that from us completely. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, I
That
didn't realize
they
Jessica
managed
had
that.
that stance. I had no idea.
No.
That she was gonna say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No
I
idea.
wonder. I
She's never
wonder
talked
if it
about
was really her opinion.
She never talked to any of us about that at all.
I kind
Well,
of
when
We
I
talked naked with her for a long time.
they re-recorded part of that conversation because when I was like, so you think it's a cult or it's not? She was like, you'll have to watch and find out. And I was like, what? And then she was like, but I do like really feel bad about the death threats you get and stuff, blah, blah, blah. And that was the rest. And they recorded her, must have, after I walked away, saying like, I da 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 da. Now that I've thought about it, and like that whole response, like she never actually
It
said that
sounded
to
like
me.
she was reciting it, like she was reading
Yeah.
it off of something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like very eloquent. Like that's not what she actually said to me.
Very different
But then
temper.
afterwards, I was talking
Isn't
to
that
Annie, and I
crazy?
was like,
Yeah.
"What the fuck? Like, why'd she say that?" And Annie was like, "Oh, well, she does." I was like, is she gonna say that it's a cult?" And she was like, "Well, she does think that Patrick's the leader, blah blah blah, or something." So I knew that like Jessica said something, but I didn't know she was gonna like that was her final thing.
Yeah, I'm glad I never met her. One of the things that may not be obvious to people viewing the show is that like this was 2 months, which is all like completely out of order. Like that conversation I had with Tyler where we asked the other Tyler to help. That is the first conversation I ever had with Tyler.
That was Oak's day one.
And that was like
So,
in the middle of the show. You know? It's like,
Yeah.
but that was like the beginning of the actual. Yeah. I wish they would have included Oak's first proposal at council.
What was that?
For his painting piece.
He wanted to paint
Like
Confederate
Confederate
flags.
flags.
and I, yeah,
You're like-
dude, as soon as
yeah.
he said that, I was like,
Read the room, motherfucker.
whoa!
Why
No.
don't I remember this?
He wanted
Oh
to
my
paint
God.
Confederate
Oh my God, I
flags
was
on
just like-
everything.
Okay,
No.
read the room. Like, this is not the same people that like that.
Yeah. We're doing
Nope.
communism here, okay? It's the other wing. Did Tyler end up founding his own cult? Well, he did move to the mountains, and he is in a new tiny home. So,
Us?
yeah.
Yeah, and so we
Us?
did start a cult, and it's just us. No one joined.
Isn't it the cult of Heavy's father now?
Carnahan cult.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, like when I
Yeah.
actually the word cult, I don't remember when we were talking, Tree, that I remember saying like, that sounds like a cult. I'm like, yep. I don't remember doing that. I don't.
Same cult. He
think-
says a cult.
But I did say dictate. It's more of like if you really want to put a nefarious word to it, it's more of a dictatorship because it is like whatever we say on our property goes.
That's our property.
And that and like it sounds way worse because that's just like normal life up here. Like if you're on my property and I tell you to leave, you need to leave. Like
The
that's
reason
it.
that this word is so nefarious is because it's not falsifiable. You can't prove it wrong. It doesn't actually mean anything. You know?
Very true.
Yes.
It's like
Subjective.
the difference between leadership and manipulation is whether you agree with them. That's the only difference. And it's the same thing with like a cult or a commune. It's like, where is the line? There's not a line.
Yeah.
It's just, are you on the same page or not? There's not another
No,
difference than
argument.
that.
Is
All right.
there a consensus or not?
So I'm here to say, like, for once for all, and I really wish that when we were all sitting around the fire, which Tree was actually not at, by the way, I was trying to say, like, the world actually needs this. That was actually the last shot of the whole entire filming, and I was
Wow.
and I was saying that this is obviously not a cult. There's nothing nefarious going on here. Just a bunch of people that are trying to survive outside society because society sucks. The government sucks. And they're just trying to survive off the land and doing it sustainably. And that's it. That's all this is.
The shareholders
There's nothing
didn't like
weird.
that.
There's nothing bad going on.
The shareholders did not consent to that message.
I'm really sad how they put it in, but they didn't do it justice. Like, and what you said too, Heather, was so beautiful, and I like that was always going to be the ending to me. I was like, that's the ending. I know that's the ending, and it's like so sad that wasn't the like.
So like
every word, I meant every word. That was nothing I did was ever for the camera. I think they actually got frustrated with me quite a bit because I was like, no, I don't feel that way. Or like, no, I'm not going to say that. Like. That's not what you're going to get out of me. I think they got frustrated with me quite a bit because I meant everything I said.
Yeah, and also on Tree and Julie's podcast, I said this a little bit.
Which was very
this
good, by the
whole
way.
entire filming process literally changed our lives. Like we were sitting in a tent with no phone, no internet, eating dumpster food, stinking, and we were the happiest we've ever been in our marriage. It's like, what the fuck what is happening? Like there's something obviously wrong. And we hit the reset button and we came back and we started thinking we need to get out of the city. We need to
start a cult.
Yeah, it didn't pan out. It didn't pan out though.
What are the things?
So we refinanced our house. We took that money and went off the grid. Now we're pooping in a compost toilet.
Yeah.
One of the things Tyler said about Heather before Heather arrived is that the only way she would ever be somewhere like that is if he got like a big fancy motorhome with all the appliances and plumbing, and then she would be there taking a shower every night. That's the only way. And then she shows up and we're like, oh, is she going to be okay?
Yeah. Yeah, she was not a camper at all. That's why it like blew me away, and it's like, okay, we're onto something, because if Heather is saying she's having a good time, and like she's like after like 3 or 4 days, she was like in tears inside of our tent, like something has to change. She's ready to quit her job. Like I'm talking about everything. I was like, whoa, hold on, let's talk about this, and when we get back, we'll see what we can do. And this is where we came up with, like, we're sitting in our tiny home off the grid in the mountains of Colorado right now because of the show. And you don't get that feeling from watching it. Like, it literally, there was so much good. Yes, there was a lot of drama, a lot of long conversations, drawn out conversations that were really dramatic. Yeah. But this show had so much information that they didn't show. Like the whole naked walk, like that was an amazing experience. We like 20 of us walking in the forest naked, while some dude that was like super knowledgeable speaking in like telling us the Latin names of every species of plant that he came by,
like where they came from, how you can use them. Medicinal food,
okay,
like that was.
You have Block, and he's like, "All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna play crazy music, and it's gonna be very scary. They're all walking to some kind of human sacrifice or something."
I'm so confused if I was a viewer and that was like shown to me in the main promos. And then I'm like, wait, like that was never shown, and like you need context for that. Like we never see us doing anything like that. Like
there's a lot of people
doing that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people online right now, like on the fan page and all those pages that we got on Facebook and everywhere, that they're like, that was super confusing.
Yeah. We got to get the word from Rosie O'Donnell. What does she think? It's wild that she stands us.
And a lot of people are confusing Rosie O'Donnell with Roseanne Barr. Yeah. Not the same person.
Yeah.
Tree had no idea who she was. I'm like, I didn't know how to explain it either. I'm like, I don't know. She's just like an American icon person. Like, I don't even know what to like say that she's in. I'm just like, she's important in America. I don't know what to tell you.
She's well known in America.
She was like a talk show host.
Yeah, I don't know what important.
She would appreciate that.
She had her own TV show, like talk show.
Yeah.
But there's another person who has a similar name who kind of looks a little bit like her, who's like totally fucking crazy, like flat Earth, QAnon, Trump, everything. And I think some people are confusing them for each other.
Yes.
I definitely got those comments on my. How can you accept an endorsement from Rosie O'Donnell after what she said about black people? It's like, are you talking about Roseanne? It's a different person.
Like Roseanne Barr?
Yeah.
That one? The one that... Yeah, Roseanne Barr is crazy.
Right.
Someone said Heather's feelings definitely came through. They got that, and they got the genuineness. And
Thank you for saying that.
another person said, what do we do now that we're not at the garden? So this was not at the garden. The garden is a different community, 600 miles and 4 states away. This was, we were all volunteering to help build this new community in Missouri, and none of us is permanent part of that community. None of us is like, I don't, does any of us have any intention of going back there? Like any plans to go back there? I don't.
I mean, it'd be nice to go back and see what's going on and help out, but it's
Maybe
not
someday.
I don't want to live in the middle of nowhere, Missouri. No offense to everyone in Missouri, but
Exactly. We all volunteers
It's
who went to
brutal.
help build this, but we're not like a part of it. So, and it's not called the garden. It's called Emberfield. They have a website, emberfield.org. You can get all the info. But yeah, none of us, I think, has been there since April, right?
May.
there is other people
Beginning
there
of May.
now. Though, a bee and swoop and goat are working there and doing stuff. So that's cool. They're doing their thing. And me and
They
Julia,
built a
we're
beautiful A-frame.
in New York, and we're now participating or starting to at a new community spot here, which has been around since the 80s, was it? Yeah, it's been around since the 80s. And there's just like 2 old guys there now, but there's like a bunch of cabins, and they're looking for rejuvenation. And it's a really interesting potential. And we're going there on Tuesday, and we're going to be filming a bunch of stuff there and showing everyone all about it. So if you want to find out about this new spot in New York, follow us on Tree and Julia on YouTube.
Do you guys know about the...
Awesome project, guys. Thanks for sharing that.
They're
that's
really
cool.
cool guys too. They're like so fun and chill, and they're amazing.
Aw, I'm excited for you.
Do you guys know about the orgasm cannon guy?
Orgasm Cannon?
I want him in my sex cult. I know that.
There's a lot of like these old utopian socialist communes in upstate New York that are like really wild. There was one where like you guys should go visit them and like make videos about it.
Please, CJ, tell us.
One of them was this guy who was convinced that he created a cannon that could fire like orgasm energy, and he like had this whole like it can cure cancer and also it can take down military satellites, and that was the line that you shouldn't have crossed. He ended up like dying in an insane asylum, but the orgasm cannons are still there. You can go see them.
You try that out.
I mean, I'll try anything once.
Right?
Yeah. There's
Or a
also
couple
like
times if it works.
Oneida.
Yeah.
Do you guys know Oneida up there? They make
No.
spoons. You can still get their spoons at Target, and it was like this giant sex cult for Jesus. They had like 200-300 adults in this big mansion, and like everybody's fucking everybody. Nobody has any idea whose kids are whose. It's just like a big pile of kids that everyone's sharing. And
There's
like,
a building at Twin Oaks called Oneida, and it's a dwelling, a common space where people actually live. A lot of the dwellings at Twin Oaks are actually named after different communities.
wow. That's
Yeah,
cool.
so Oneida is one of them.
You can go tour the mansion, and it's actually a town now, Oneida, and they're still making spoons, but the Christian sex cult is officially over.
Aw.
But it's the kids that are running it. They had like all these kids. Nobody knows whose are whose. So they like inherited all of it, and they're still making the spoons.
Sexy spoons.
That's bizarre.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of those places in upstate New York. It's wild.
It's wild up there. Yeah, baby.
People are talking about different things that Rosie O'Donnell did. A League of Their Own, a movie, Flintstones, Then and Now.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Flintstones was cute. That was funny.
I did think she looked a little Flintstonian.
She was Betty, right?
Yeah.
Betty Rubble.
I don't know. I don't remember. I vaguely remember that. It was the live action one, right?
Live action.
Yeah, live action.
With John Goodman.
Oh yeah, John Goodman was
Right,
Fred
right.
Flintstone.
I just can't deny.
So what were some other moments that are still stuck in your head from the episode?
I just want to apologize for the part that I played and like misconstruing the story and like pulling away attention from like what the project actually was. And like, yes, there were like ups and downs and it was hard, but like, I feel like I never wanted to play a part in, you know, jumbling up the story as much. I don't know. I just feel like that shit fucking sucks.
I think we all
There's
got
nothing
shoehorned
you could have
into that.
done, and they could just
Yeah.
take whatever you said and did, and they're gonna do whatever they want with it anyway.
Yeah.
You didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, I think I feel the same way about myself sometimes where I'm like, oh, fuck, that was me. But it's like the story had nothing to do with anything that we wanted, and it never was going to. So it's like,
But hey, we got land, you know, like for a bunch of people who don't have jobs, who don't have traditional education other than CJ, who went to college at the age of 12. Like, we did something amazing, you know, like we were a group of people who are practically homeless, and we were able to create a home for so many people. So we have to be proud of something.
And I'm proud. Like it's you guys are part of my heart now. Like we think about you every day, even when we're not doing show stuff, right? I'm thankful for the lessons that we learned from you. I'm thankful the connections that we made. You know, like Tyler said, like I think truly and honestly, this experience saved us individually as people and saved our marriage and changed us for forever. And so no matter how that gets construed on television or misconstrued on television, every single day I'm thankful for each and every one of you for just having met you.
Yeah, and just know that is real. 100%.
Fancy.
Beautiful.
It seemed
We
really
did, guys.
interesting.
We won.
We won.
It seemed really interesting. There was this whole story towards the end of the episode when Jessica said, if there is this conflict, then the person who's not having fun should leave. And then they show Patrick, and they had this whole thing about, like, if he leaves, everyone else will be better off. And it seemed like right after that is when they did that whole sequence where Tyler was like, I want to be the tyrannical leader. And Patrick was like, I agree with Tyler about a lot of stuff about the world. And then there was the clip where somebody was like, whenever Patrick can't use and control someone, he finds someone new, and then it shows Julia. And then he's like, and then he finds someone new, and then it shows Tyler.
Man.
It seemed like they were setting up some kind of like, maybe the season ends with like no answer to the question of commune or cult, and then it splits apart, and you have like Tree doing a commune, and you have Patrick doing a cult with Tyler for season 2.
Jesus.
That was like the impression I got from that. Like, it was so weird, the little arc that kind of went nowhere. but it kind of
Yeah.
hinted at like what might be to come if we wanted to do it again.
Well,
I
I feel
think they
like
set it up where it could go a lot of different ways.
yeah. I mean, I thought I got pretty
I'm a
killed
little
off,
scared, actually.
right? I'm killed off for sure.
I don't think so.
You're killed off.
I'm killed off.
I thought it came through that the argument was being misrepresented. Like when you were saying, I'm talking about creating a space where I don't think everybody here would want to be a part of it, and they're like, you want to do something without us, and you're like, yeah, like
Fuck yeah.
you wouldn't all want to. Like it's a different thing that you wouldn't all want to do. It kind of seemed like they were trying to set up like some kind of split in the future. You know?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, maybe
you know,
you
a
might
lot
get
of,
your own piece of land where you can throw the parties and all that stuff.
well, I'm still working on it. Like, I'm still trying to figure out how to get that to happen. You know, like it's something I've been wanting to do for fucking years now, and it's all about just trying to, you know, create interesting ways for people to experience off-grid living. You know, I came to the garden because I wanted to participate in a community that was open door, where like anyone could go to at any time, and I wanted to help promote that so the world knew that it was always a possibility for them. But now we have I feel like there's a new task, and it's the people in the city that have no idea how to shit. If shit hits the fan, they don't know how to shit correctly. They don't know how to get clean water. They don't know
Yes.
how to make a fire to cook food. Like these things need to be taught, and we can do it in an interesting way where the culture of the city and revitalize what the rural living means. You know, just because you're living in a rural environment doesn't mean that you can have the exciting, fun culture of what the city holds. And you know, I'm still trying to get it to happen. You know, I think it's still possible.
Yeah.
I love how you see the world. I love how you guys see the world. I love it.
Thanks, sweetie.
A lot of people are posting hearts. Someone said, I hope this movement grows. It's very needed. There's not an
We agree.
alternative. That's the definition of sustainability is that you can keep doing it and you'll be able to keep doing it. And the world that we live in is not sustainable. So it's kind of this or nothing on some level.
This or we all die.
Yeah, and that's soon. Oh, I didn't say what I'm doing. I'm since the project, I'm a graduate student in San Francisco, so I've been in school.
No more. Since you were in 6th grade.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
I can't get over that.
That's when I started college.
Yeah, I tried college once and I failed, so I joined the army.
Someone said a serious documentary about what we're doing would be awesome. So there actually have been like a bunch of them. Vice
Come on, help me out.
With what?
Oh, sorry, never mind. Talk about Vice.
Oh, yeah, Vice did one. A bunch of our friends, people that we met when they came, have made them and become friends with us while they were doing it. So, like, I'm thinking like Rick, right? Bunch of people have made documentaries about all the stuff that we do, and most of us are content creators who create like a lot of content about what we do, and we all tag each other in any of the videos that we post about stuff that we do together, so you can find all the others, you know. Oh, someone said Julia didn't say what is she doing after the garden.
Oh, well, it's the same as Tree. We're chilling in New York. We're making our podcast, and we are hanging out at a new community that we're maybe going to try to help revitalize, because there's lots of cabins, beautiful land, beautiful water,
40.
and all it needs is people and fun. So we're gonna try to help that space get rolling.
Someone
Yeah,
asked,
that's good.
what is the podcast
You can watch
called?
on our YouTube channel.
Yeah,
Tree and Julia.
it's called Tree and Julia.
No, it's called Community Culture.
Well, that's what our podcast is called, but our YouTube channel is called Tree and Julia.
Yeah, and we have CJ on it, we have a B on it, and we recently had Tyler on it.
I thought that one was really good with Tyler.
And we're gonna have Shine on it on Tuesday.
What'd you say, Tyler?
I said yes. I personally think it was a good one too.
I think like the fact that you guys obviously have like rapport and are friends sort of like underlines the fact that a lot of what's in the show is like not accurate or real, right?
The bromance is real.
Yeah.
I have the video somewhere of Tyler like picking Tree up and using him to smash grapes.
I remember that.
Delete it. I wish they would have showed that.
I would love that video.
The best thing was when Tree did Bird. Like when we were doing the acro class and he put Tree up in high bird.
It's like, I can fly.
Like, tits up, Tree, tits up.
Another thing that we're all doing is we're starting a new nonprofit. So we are creating a new nonprofit called the High Desert Institute. And we're focusing on research and development around all of the appropriate technology. So like the different kinds of outhouses, the different ways you could do lighting, what are all the options for how you can get your water, and then you pick which one works for where you are and the conditions that you have, right? And so we're putting all of this together into a giant apocalypse library, which is something that Tyler and I have both separately been working on for a long time, which we found out talking about this. And so putting all of that together and then paying for a copy of it to be hosted at lots of different intentional communities. We also have public libraries who have reached out about hosting copies of it that people can come get. And then everyone everywhere will have access to all of this information about how they can solve all of these problems locally and all of the different work other people have already done on how to do it. And we're also sponsoring, if people want to do some kind of project to research and learn about this kind of stuff, we can help fund that and add the content about how to do it to the library so that everyone in the world will always have access to it.
And you can access it without the internet.
Yeah. And a lot of this came from we had this conversation at the first meeting when we decided to do all of this, decided to create the Permaculture Mutual Aid Network and start building intentional communities. One of the requests from someone at one of the communities was, can we build an off-grid internet? Because then we could have access to everything. We could have like Wikipedia and all the movies and documentaries and books locally available in case something happens to the infrastructure or in case we don't have, power. We don't want to have a connection to the public internet. We don't want the government to track us and know where we are, right? Which is a common concern, right, for people who are living off grid. And so we've thought a lot about it for a long time. And we've even worked on things like LoRa, creating these. This is like a special little device that can send text messages and Wi-Fi 20 miles. People have been able to get it to work up to 200 miles. And so connecting intentional communities directly to each other via these other kinds of networks that we can build and being able to share all of this information this way is like a huge central part of this project. And then doing research and development that we can add to it to help give this information to people all over the world who need it.
It's a serious amount of information. It's not like a few documentaries and a few books that are in this apocalyptic library. It's over, like right now, it's just for the little bit that CJ has, over 90 terabytes right now, and that's just a fraction of it.
Yeah. And we're just getting started.
The potential that we'll have.
Yeah. So it's very exciting.
All right, y'all. I have an early day. I got to install a dog door. and all those.
The dog stopped shitting in our house.
Yeah, I don't like that. But
Well, good luck.
we gotta take off.
Signing off. Last episode.
See you later.
We did it. It's over.
It was crazy.
We did it.
Yeah.
Love you all.
Love the fact that we got to meet you guys and be a part of your lives for a very short period of time, but it was awesome.
Thank you. Like that. Julia, thank you. Tree, thank you. Dan is not here. Thank you. CJ, thank you. You guys you're good people.
Thank you. And buckle up because now it's gonna start streaming, so it's gonna be way crazier.
I know. That's what's
And I was just thinking, like, I've been recognized by like older people in like Lowe's and Home Depot, which is like, yeah, like, whoa, like
You're Tyler.
they're like, is your name Tyler? I was like,
It's because
yes,
the
it
hat.
is.
It's the hat.
And I tip my brim to him and I walk away. But yeah, and because right now I have looked up the ratings. The show is number 7 on Discovery's all-time like show list right now. What's on their board?
And it hasn't even started streaming yet.
And I was just thinking because right now we have around 340,000 viewers, and that's just cable television.
Nobody has cable.
It doesn't say like only older people have cable.
Yeah.
And then now it's going to start streaming. And where do you know where it's going to start streaming, CJ?
HBO. And I think it's going to be on like all like Hulu and all the normal streaming services.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and like HBO and stuff like that too.
Yeah, for sure, HBO Max.
I think it's already on Hulu.
Only when it's only playing
Just
live.
the first 3.
It's not streaming like on demand. It's only playing like live on there.
Whole new audience.
Yeah. It's gonna be
Younger audience that they wanted, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta get my my underwear business going.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's if people are asking, why not make the money, right?
I don't like taking money from people. It's the only problem I have.
I just realized that
Yeah.
it's my birthday.
Oh,
Happy
birthday!
I just realized. Someone just texted me. I was like, oh shit.
Oh shit.
The finale was on your birthday.
Well, it was the day before, but now it's past midnight. So.
Oh shit! Yeah, okay. We were supposed to leave.
Yet.
Hold on a second. We're not getting sucked back in. We gotta leave.
All right. I love you guys.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm gonna go too.
Night. Thank you, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.